Welcome to Chapter 3 of Holy Grit. I'm Dean Register, and today we're going to explore the Holy Grit in the life of a man named Caleb and how he developed a resilient faith. You know the story of Caleb. Caleb was one of the 12 scouts that Moses sent out on a recon mission for the Promised Land. Caleb, along with Joshua, come back and they give their glowing report. The other 10 come back and they say, yes, it is a land that flows with milk and honey, and there's plenty there. But there are also obstacles, and we can't go in. You know, it's interesting to me how Caleb looked at things that was entirely different from the others. And I've often said Caleb may be the most overlooked brave heart in the Old Testament. And there was some characteristic about him that I think we can apply in our own life. First of all, Caleb had an unflinching belief in God's authority and God's power. We've all heard that well-worn statement, God said it, I believe it, that settles it. Well, that's good as far as it goes, but Caleb took it a little further. He said, God said it, that settles it, believe it or not. And I like that about Caleb. He had this awesome trust in God's authority and God's power. When my mom died, my brother and I were forced to have to sell her home in Georgia. And I remember as we were wrapping up the final details, I walked into the backyard, and the backyard seemed so much smaller than I ever remembered it. And I wondered how 6 or 8 or 10 aspiring NFL football players could play in that backyard. Sometimes when we would punt the ball, it would hit a power line that would drape from a power pole right into our home. And the sparks would fly. And we all thought, man, that's pretty cool. Look at that. And as I stood there reflecting, it dawned on me, we didn't have a clue about the power that was above us. We didn't have any idea about the awesome power and energy we played beneath. And sometimes as Christians, we make that same mistake. We don't understand the awesome power of God in our lives. And sometimes we go along serving and worshiping and leading unconscious about God's power that we could rely upon. Here's the second thing I noticed about Caleb, and that is that he had this wholehearted loyalty. 6 times he's referred to as a man who was wholeheartedly devoted, fully devoted, totally devoted. Caleb's wholeheartedness repudiated fence straddling. Don't we live in a day of waffling and fence straddling? We see it so often in so many areas. But Caleb, he disdained that. He just felt like, if God's called us to do it, let's do it. Well, were the other 10 sincere? I'm sure they were. They were just sincerely wrong. They saw an obstacle that could not be overcome, while Caleb trusted a God who was too big to fail. And therein lies a significant difference. And then there was a third thing. I think Caleb knew that if he was going to have to endure that 40-year wilderness excursion, he was going to need regular refills. And it's important for us because the New Testament tells us to continue to be filled with God, with the Holy Spirit, with God's presence. And we need to avail ourselves of that, because God's more than willing to fill us up. If we'll come with our empty cups, he'll fill us up every time. And Caleb got to the very end of his journey. And there's another feature that I love about him. His faith looked forward to a reward. He told Joshua, Josh, remember I wanted the hill country where the giants are. And I'm 85, but I'm as strong now as I ever was. He wasn't posing. He was simply saying, my heart is totally devoted to the Lord. The strength Caleb was talking about was not in his biceps, his pecs, or his quads. It was in his heart. And that's where the true strength lies. And I hope I can be like Caleb. If God allows me to live to be 85, I may have to gum my food. I may have to wear incontinence briefs. I may have a walker. But I hope in my heart I can wake up each day and say, Lord, show me the giants. I want to tackle the giants of fear, the giants of worry, the giants of unbelief and doubt. Lord, let me take them head on. By faith in you, let me honor you with holy grit. Hey guys, don't back up, don't let up, don't shut up until his work is built up. God bless you.